Hello, I'm Janine Nodder, and this is Chattin' with Janine. Today I'm joined by a special guest from the World Affairs Council, an organization that helps connect New Hampshire to the wider world. She meets visitors from every corner of the globe, leaders, innovators, and future changemakers, and helps introduce them to our communities. We're going to talk about what her work looks like, what she's learned, and why these global connections matter right here at home. The Granite State Global Visitors. So welcome, Asine Jasman-Sayers.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I wanted some props today, so I ended up wearing all the pins that I have. Some of them I got from some of your meetings.
Yeah.
I had a hole in my jacket from other pins, so I added the California, which also could be considered a foreign country by some measures. So I don't know if the camera can pick up the pins, but we'll start with the Granite State, New Hampshire.
Yep.
Canada. No, Britain.
Yep.
What is this one?
I believe, I can't remember exactly which one that was. I know you have a Canadian one there. You've got a Jewish one there, or Israeli one.
Israel, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the bottom
Canada.
one is.
One is Japan, and one might be Korea.
That is actually probably Japan over there.
And then the country of Georgia.
Yes.
While on my pins.
While I invite international visitors, I'm looking to their faces more than looking to their flags, although I'm trying to connect it all. So yes.
That's difficult. But anyway, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with the beginning. What does the World Affairs Council do, especially here in New Hampshire?
Yeah, so World Affairs Council of New Hampshire, we work to help New Hampshire better understand the international world, and we do that a variety of ways. Sometimes it's a speaking opportunity, whether we're putting on an event talking about AI, how it's being used in education, conversation, or even journalism, or the future of NATO. There's very prevalent conversations, so that way people in New Hampshire can learn from it and then make their own well-informed decision. We're not here to change your opinion. We're here to provide information for you to be well-informed. We also work with schools and high schools and middle schools with our diplomacy simulations, bringing these these simulations to the classes so kids can work on critical thinking, leadership skills, and all kinds of stuff. But strictly at the council, I manage our international exchanges. So I actually bring them to New Hampshire so that way people like you have an opportunity to get to meet these change makers.
And just everybody knows AI is artificial intelligence, and NATO is, what does NATO stand for?
Oh, it's a national association, treaty organization or something like that. So NATO and the organization of the world, keeping the world safe.
All right, now we're going to talk about your role. You
Yes.
meet people from all over the world. What does your job actually look like on a normal day, assuming there is a normal day?
Yep. So typically these programs are put together throughout the year. I am always staying on top of what's coming. Maybe I see something on women in entrepreneurship, and I know that New Hampshire has a lot of really amazing resources, so I will put together a proposal. If a proposal is chosen, then New Hampshire becomes part of that itinerary. Individuals will come to the U.S. for 2 to 3 weeks, visit anywhere from 3 to 6 communities, meeting with American counterparts to have those conversations about the best practices, the challenges and solutions, it all on a basis of really also helping them understand us. So the benefit is that while they're coming to meet with you, like you're a legislator, they come to meet with you, you're getting to learn about them from multiple different countries.
And I love that.
So you're widening your perspective that the world is not as small as it is, it's much bigger, and there's so much more out there that we connect with and that we're similar to.
Do you have a counterpart in all 50 states, or is New Hampshire like unique?
So we have yes and no. So there's not somebody in all 50 states. There are some states that don't have what's a community-based member, which is what I am. I am the only one for New Hampshire. But as an example, like Massachusetts, there's an organization, World Boston, and then there's an organization in Springfield, Mass. So depending on the state, depending how big the state is, and depending on the resources will depend whether there is a single organization like me or multiple in that state.
How did you get started in this field? Was it always the plan, or did the job find you?
No, ironically, I come from 20 years experience in the transportation industry, and I was referred to by my executive director for transportation a good 15 years ago. So I did transportation logistics for IVLP for a good 8 years before actually having the position be open. My chauffeurs knew that I was looking for something different. I am also a wedding planner, so logistically it just seemed to fit, so I dove head first. No idea what I was getting into, knowing that I wanted to do something, wanted to make a change, and yeah, fast forward to now.
You can move your hair away from your mic. Who are the types of people that come through your programs?
These are up-and-coming leaders. So these individuals have been identified as somebody who is a prominent leader or someone who is coming up in the ranks. It could be a young politician from Japan or from the Republic of Georgia who may be a legislative aide who potentially has such a career ahead. So the idea is they come. They can be politicians, they can be doctors, they can be educators, they can be nonprofit owners. I mean, there is no gamut of to who is not coming. These are all professionals. The whole idea is if I have a group of female legislators come, meet with multiple different organizations, they're understanding how you as a legislator decided to do what you do and what passion drives you and also what challenges you might have. I mean, these are really great things because you get that conversation, you get to learn about from them and you go, wait, I have the exact same challenge. Oh, I did this. And you could potentially help advance another country. I mean, that's a big thing is that these conversations don't just stop when they leave. Yeah, we help shape the world.
I got to visit the parliament in the country, Georgia,
Yep.
and the lady who gave me the tour said she's been to New Hampshire, so she probably met you.
You never know. You never know. We've had roughly over 4,000 visitors just come to New Hampshire on this program in about 20 years.
Is there a pattern in where the visitors come from or what they're focused on?
So programs and projects are all administrative led. So as the administration, whoever is in whatever their foreign policies, that's how the themes are created. You will find a lot of repeats, transparency, government programs and stuff like that. Visitors, they come from all over. You will find that you have, I have hosted visitors from 172 different countries.
Wow.
So
I didn't get to meet all 172
no.
groups.
So again, there is, I have two groups coming in on March 10th. One are 4 from Kazakhstan, so that's 4 visitors coming from Kazakhstan. And then the other group are 9 we have Argentina, we have the UK, we have Gambia, we have Slovakia, we have Israel. I mean, there's just so many countries. So it's put together and these people are nominated and these projects are, when they're put together, part of the also intent is that they're also getting to collaborate with other international people. So they come here, they learn the best practices, they go out there, they're sharing everything that they've learned and they become allies for the US because they've really seen what it's like and they've broken those disbeliefs.
When they come to New Hampshire, what are they most surprised about? Is it the weather, the lack of traffic, the fact that people say wicked? Or
the funny thing is most of the time they go, why New Hampshire? I will say that. They're like, unless they're in politics and they know that we're first in the primary, they've never heard of us. But what I always say, number one, 96% of the U.S. is made up of small communities, just like New Hampshire. That is why you are here. You are coming to learn about the U.S., so you're going to go to these communities to teach. What do they say when they come in? Oh, wow. This is a warm environment. They're friendly. They're so nice. This is like home.
The groups that I met, I would always tell them, and there's no sales tax, so they want to go shopping, and I always tell them about the outlets, and some of them go there.
Yes, I do encourage, economic feed into our economy. It's like, yes, we do have no sales tax, so please shop as much as you can, infuse it into our economy. To give you an idea, there's the money that comes into the economy. And as an example of last year, I programmed, because of the government shutdown, we don't operate during that time, 6 months last year. We still infused roughly about $950,000 into New Hampshire's economy, just on the programming I did do.
Wow.
So it makes a huge difference. So it's not just a professional part aspect of it, it's also the economic impact that it also has.
You must see some great cross-cultural moments. Are there any memorable funny reactions visitors have had to life here?
Funny reactions? I've seen some cute things. Like there was a group when I first started in 2018, we had this women entrepreneurship group, and it was the novelty of snow, you know, just having snow. And we actually had a really bad winter, and I think they were going to somebody's home and they had a pile of snow, and that's all there was, but they got to see it and they were just so excited.
Yeah, I remember years ago the legislators would take them, host them at their home.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's a second part of this. So again, part of this program was to help the world better understand Americans. You can do that in two ways. Professionally, you get to know how we actually operate, but also personally. So we have what's called the home hospitality program, where people like you can invite a visitor into your home for dinner.
With my big dog.
Oh,
Yeah.
you would be surprised. A lot of people are terrified of animals, but a lot of
Everyone's
people have
terrified of
pets,
my dog.
and they love seeing it because we treat our pets a little differently than a lot of countries do. So it's a cultural experience, but these are really awesome opportunities because you invite your friends, you invite your family, you get to learn about them, and they get to learn about you.
So my next question is, has there been a visitor or an experience that really stuck with you?
Oh, we don't have enough time for me to tell you. I can tell you about a group of women from Saudi Arabia on physical education, creating curriculum for girls. I can tell you about a young lady from India who walked into the Freedom Cafe and started crying because that was a dream of something she always had. I can tell you so many stories. I know one that also connects with you was a group on women in peace and security. And this was a Latin American group, and we had a lot of countries. We had a couple visitors from Venezuela, Honduras, Colombia, and
In Mexico?
In Mexico, there was 20 some odd women on that. But the point is that whether it's their conversation or somebody else's, it's when you hear about their story, you hear how they got here, what they've done. And that's what's always so impactful, that someone will risk. I mean, some of these people will risk their lives.
And they did.
For the work they do. And, you know, like the young ladies that came from Venezuela, you know, they wanted to participate. And there was also the concern on safety. I think there's a concern with safety with anybody who travels, whether you're an American going abroad or international person coming here as well.
So if you had asked me that question, that's the group of women that I would mention, because their stories stayed with me for a long, long time, and I worried so much and prayed for their safety. And I remember getting in touch with you. Did they make it home? Did they make it home? Because some of us were actually crying.
Yes.
We were listening to their stories and just crying.
That was an intense meeting. Well, the cool thing is it doesn't always happen, but sometimes. So I will create a WhatsApp group to communicate. So these groups are always traveled with liaisons and interpreters, especially if they don't speak the language. And that was a Spanish-speaking group. And they'll create a WhatsApp group. So I'm actually part of that group. So every so often I will just say, hello from New Hampshire, thinking of you.
Oh, could you tell them I said hello
yes,
too?
And I tell you, it's so nice that I just randomly get hellos, we love you, we miss New Hampshire, or something like that comes up. And it's a really nice feeling that we made such an impact to these people, even if it was just our kindness.
Do they remember us?
Oh, they do.
Do they?
Oh, they do. I will tell you that, you know, I recently surveyed our alumni network, and one of the biggest things for every single one of them was the impact that New Hampshire had on them. Wow. Even though we are such a small community, we were such a welcoming community that this is like a replication of home. It felt like home to them. And that's huge. To have someone who comes here not knowing America other than what they may see on a TV box, and actually get to meet one and then go back with a perception like that, then they just share that. I mean, that's the great part about it, is they share this with the next person to the next person to the next person. And then you get a multiplier effect that you've now, you know, there's hundreds of thousands of people in this world who know about New Hampshire and who've never been here because of these alumni.
So why do these international exchanges matter? And what's the
people
difference
to
when you
people
meet
diplomacy.
People face? Yeah,
so
exactly.
people to people diplomacy. You know, I used to always joke and say, here's a story. You move to a new neighborhood. You have a neighbor. Okay, they might be noisy, but you never go over and say hi to your neighbor. Will you ever get along with them? It's about opening your door and inviting people in. and having those conversations. I may not be a change maker. That's the people that come here, and that's the people they meet. I'm a bridge maker. I build that bridge to connect these, because what happens when you have an individual from Sierra Leone come out to visits our Fish and Game Committee, takes a copy of the U.S. Constitution, and is now going back to Sierra Leone to revamp their laws on fishing based off our Constitution.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
I remember seeing the picture of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, we're making changes.
I think Senator Tim Lang was a representative at the time, and
Yep.
he was the chairman of the Fish and
was.
Game Committee at the time.
He was. So, I mean, again, it's conversations that make huge changes. And when you talk about people-to-people diplomacy, it was a few years ago doing advocacy work for this that I realized that we fall under soft power. We fall under national security. We provide conversations and we bring these change makers to meet with change makers in our countries to have these conversations.
So I have some rapid fire questions for you.
I'll do my best.
What's your favorite international dish that you tried because of your job?
Oh, this is a fun story. So I had a group from Tajikistan.
I've never.
Yes. Tajikistan, and they were on youth development, and this was a homestay. They were at a visit at one of our local hosts in Bedford's house. They cooked. So a 3-hour dish. So my coworker and I helped. So we all went there and helped prepare a dish called plov.
That sounds fun.
Which was beef and carrots and garlic and rice, and they take the garlic cloves and it was the coolest experience. And I mean, I've had lots of international dishes. We've hosted Ukrainian parliament groups where I've had a local organization in Derry, Dobro, provide some of the Ukrainian sweets that they actually have in Ukraine. But this was the first time that I had a chance with visitors to taste their cooking, to really have them cook and to taste. And it was such a cool experience.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I would love to replicate it, like a community kitchen, and have them come, and because food, I mean, that's home hospitality. There's so much you can share over food.
Do you get to visit their countries?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Then I won't ask you which country you haven't visited.
It's not part of that, but I will tell you, I really encourage our visitors to follow me on social media. You can follow me. I'm a non-political person. I share my cats, my granddaughter, my food, my plants. That's me. I like to be connected because someday I hope that I can retire and that I can go visit them. Mm-hmm. And imagine the countries that I could visit.
You know people all over the world.
And
you're a global citizen.
And that's so exciting to see that I have friends in like every corner of the world. It really is.
That's amazing.
And because of this program.
You're very blessed. What is the most surprising question a visitor has ever asked you? That's a hard one.
Surprising. Yeah, I'm trying to think a surprising question on that one. I mean, the questions are always very general. Maybe, why I do what I do. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's always a surprising question, why I do what I do. The importance of the work I do. Yeah, that one's a hard one to answer.
Yeah. I know the question I always ask them is, what does your country use for energy?
Oh, okay.
That's a question I ask them.
I always want to know fun facts. And, actually, no. You know what? One of the questions that why New Hampshire? Mm-hmm. That is probably the one question that is constantly answered. In the beginning, I didn't know how to answer it. I'm like, okay, well, we're not like Boston or New York. We don't have the same type. But I'm like, we have value. And I'm learning this value, and I'm going to share this value with you. And that's what's going to happen, is you're going to learn about us.
Is there a New Hampshire food you always make visitors try?
When I can, lobster roll.
Yeah, lobster roll. I was going to guess that.
Yeah, it's funny. So we're physically based out of Manchester, but we program up the whole state. Like the groups I have coming up, I'm going to be heading up to Dartmouth. I'm going to be heading out to UNH in Durham. So Keene, I'm all over the place in reference to that. And what was the question again?
New Hampshire food you always make visitors try.
Food. So traveling on the highway. Sometimes I'm really tight on my lunch breaks, so I stop at the rest area. And lobster roll, chowder. Lobster roll, clam chowder, anything maple syrup, maple candy, and if it's that time of the year, anything apple related or pumpkin related.
Oh, okay.
So seasonal. We've had groups come out and go apple picking before, which is kind of fun. We get groups that'll do the Portsmouth Harbor Tour a lot, or Mount Washington. so they can really get a sense of the culture within our community.
So I know sometimes they'll give you pins, and ironically, last term the Democrat leader Matt Wilhelm,
Okay, yep.
he gave me a pin.
Oh.
And he was so sweet. He's still a nice guy. But I think it was Japan. So one of these pins he gave me.
I have quite
souvenir.
a few of them at my office too. I never get them given to me. The visitors are given them in DC when they arrive. So it's always nice when I get passed on one. It's like, yes, thank you.
I was going to ask you what your best souvenir is that someone gave you.
Oh, shoot. So yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to receive gifts from visitors before, just that they come. And I think probably one of my favorite gifts is this vase that comes from Tajikistan, actually from that same group. It's a hand-painted vase.
Oh, lovely.
And I kind of received it by default because it was given to the home host who didn't have a safe place to keep it, and then gave it to us so we could display it at our office. Because with international work we have visitors that come to our office all the time. So sometimes it's nice to see those things.
I used to tape a version of this show across the river in Londonderry, and there was a group visiting from one of the Asian countries, and they gave me these clippers. It had like embroidery on them.
Oh, cute.
So when that group came through again, I told them about that, and they remembered giving those clippers out.
Oh, one of my favorite gifts was a fan.
Yes, I have the fan.
Yes, I have a
took it out
fan
the other day.
From Congo. They make some really cool fans with the leather handles and stuff. Yes.
Don't have that one.
Yes, I will. It's nice when you get hot. It's a really good fan, but yeah.
There was a beautiful calendar we got one year, and then this term I didn't get one because I have a different role this year.
Yep.
But the what is he? Speaker Pro Tem gave me his.
Okay.
So I still had the nice calendar up. If you could instantly speak one more language, what would it be?
Oh, it is honestly a toss between Arabic and Spanish. And the reason between those two is because a lot of our visitors come who have Arabic language. Mm-hmm. So it'd be nice to converse. And there are a lot of visitors who come or even have a language that has very similarities to Spanish. So if I were to, and that's trying to think about communication. When I was in high school, I started learning French. I know a little German from my mom, but if I'm thinking of an actual useful language, even Mandarin. Learning Chinese. I think
ASD,
Chinese,
the charter school, they learn Mandarin Chinese.
Yes, so I think even learning a Chinese language, Mandarin, would also be so beneficial. Just being able to communicate. I mean, we've got tools. We've got Google Translate and stuff like that that's out there, which is great. But when they're having those organic conversations, it would be nice to hear and understand it.
All right, the funniest cultural misunderstanding you've witnessed. Or is there one?
Funniest? No, actually, I can't think of anything.
How about coffee or tea?
Visitors?
Yes.
It's a mix. You will find they do like coffee. Like a lot of people like the thick Turkish coffee, the heavy coffee.
Oh, yeah.
But then a lot of people like their matcha teas and stuff like that. So
you must know Peter Albert. Is that his name? No, Peter Albert is the town councilor.
Oh.
Peter Abbott.
Okay.
He was the consulate general for England. I had him on the show before, and I asked him how to make a proper cup of tea.
Oh.
So he told me how to make a proper cup of tea. I said, I don't know if I really care for tea. And he goes, well, you don't care about it at all. You all threw it into the harbor. But now I do drink tea. Yep. And I drink a lot less coffee.
Yeah, so I have to drink lots of water.
All right, that was it on my rapid fire questions that were very rapid. So we have about 3 or 4 minutes left. So what's next for the World Affairs Council, and are there any upcoming programs you're excited about?
Yeah, so continue our mission. That's really what's ahead. Programming, whether it's the council itself. Do we have groups coming in? Yep, we have a couple of groups slated. So I have 2 arriving on March 10th. One of them is on virtual assets, and the other one is on protective intellectual property rights for science and innovation.
Oh,
so which is really
interesting.
Yeah, which is really fun.
And where do you meet? I mean, where do you take them?
Virtual assets. They're meeting with Nashville Police, Manchester Police, State Police, Department of Justice, Consumer Fraud Department to talk about digital assets and reporting. Bankers Association.
Granite Place, because that's where the DOJ
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. So Nashville, Manchester. On the IPR, we're going to be heading up to Dartmouth. We're going to be heading to UNH, Innovation, UNH Law, DECA.
Back outlets.
Their free time, they are absolutely welcome to do any kind of shopping, and we encourage it. These two groups are staying in Manchester at the Residence Inn. I have another group that's coming in at the end of March, and that one's going to be staying in Concord at the new DoubleTree, which used to be Holiday Inn.
I haven't been in there since they redid it
No,
all.
yeah. But, I actually have a question for you, Janine. So you have been meeting our groups for quite a few years. You've met a lot of our groups. Some of them are all women groups, some of them are mixed groups, and they come to they come to the State House, they meet with you guys. Besides that particular group, what does this mean to you? Having these conversations.
I love meeting people from around the world and learning their cultures. And, before the show we were talking about Africa, and I read this book about this little village in Africa. They didn't even have electricity. But the woman who wrote the book, her father was like the mayor or something, so he had a Jeep. And that Jeep had a battery that they were able to plug in somehow a little TV. These little children in a remote village in Africa were watching Tom and Jerry cartoons, and they were they're saying that one's you and that one's me. And I was like, my kids used to do that. My children here in America would watch cartoons and they'd say, that one's Patrick, that one's Paul, that's Joe, Eva. And they're doing the same thing and nothing in common. Except they're both humans on planet Earth.
Yep.
So that was very amazing to me. So
that's an echoed story from so many. Just that I didn't realize you guys were actually, they think that Americans are really kind and generous, more kind and generous than they could potentially, than they even thought of, especially how warm and welcome we are. But we're also, and the other thing that also surprises them is that we're not afraid to tell them that we don't know it and we don't have all the answers or we did something wrong. And in the public eye, it's perceived that America is always right, but we're not always right. We make mistakes, but the part is that we learn from these mistakes. And when they have these conversations and they're learning this, they then realize that we are so much more human than what a TV box makes us perceived to be, and that we're actually more alike than we are different. And that's the cool part about it.
That's a good ending. So thank you, Anise, for joining me today. And it's inspiring to hear how your work builds connections, not just between countries, but between people. So the World Affairs Council reminds us that New Hampshire is part of a larger global community, and the stories you shared today really show how meaningful that can be.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching, and thank you to Justin in the control room.
Thanks.